And the Chair will now recognize the Minority Leader of the subcommittee, the gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Barber, for an opening statement that he may have.
Well, thank you, Chairman Duncan, for convening this hearing. And it's a critical area that we're examining today because the American public every single day, that's the flying public at least, deals with the TSA officers, and we need to make sure that they're treated properly. In the aftermath of September 11th, 2001, those terrorist attacks resulted in the formation or the creation of the Transportation Security Administration. And the main purpose was to protect air travel and keep the traveling public safe. In order to implement its mission, the TSA employs thousands of TSOs, Transportation Security Officers, that on a daily basis screen almost 2 million passengers at 450 airports throughout the United States. These dedicated and hardworking civil servants perform their duties in the face of frustration. I've seen it in my many travels back and forth between my home and in Washington. Face frustration from weary travelers and critics of the TSA's often changing policies. They serve as our front line of defense in aviation security, and we rely on them and the technology that they use to keep us safe from harm. As I mentioned, I've now been in Congress for 1 year. I fly back home almost every weekend. I've gone through TSA security lines at least 100 times in this last year. And I would have to say that I look and observe what's going on around me with other passengers, and almost always, with few exceptions, the public is treated with respect and professionalism. But there are problems that remain. According to media reports from December 2010 through February 2013, 108 transportation security officers have been arrested, and 93 crimes related to their employment have been committed. According to the GAO, from 2010 through 2012, the annual number of TSA misconduct cases increased from 2,691 to 3,408. The GAO also reported that 1,936, or 20% of the aforementioned misconduct cases, were classified as security and screening violations. These pertain to incidents that do not include conducting security or equipment checks and allowing people or baggage to bypass the screening. TSA's most important responsibility is to ensure the safety and the security of travelers in a professional manner, and we cannot allow one bag or one person to go unscreened, and this percentage of unscreened baggage and people is absolutely unacceptable. When compared to the TSA workforce in total, which numbers more than 55,000 employees, the overall misconduct numbers indicate that around 6% of TSA's employees were involved in wrongdoing. And these statistics clearly show that more work can and must be done to properly train and effectively hire transportation security officers. It should be noted that this data from the GAO also indicates that the vast majority of TSO, transportation security officers, are law-abiding citizens and professional in carrying out their most important duties and fulfilling the mission of the Department of Homeland Security. According to GAO, TSA has made some progress in improving the professionalism and accountability of its workforce. For example, having a table of offenses with clearly defined ranges of penalties ensures that consistency and fairness exists in what was previously a very ad hoc and arbitrary process. Furthermore, the creation of TSA Office of Professional Responsibility has resulted in reduced backlog of cases and quicker decisions for employees waiting to resolve their matters. The TSA has also added additional training classes for its airport-based personnel so that managers and supervisors are better able to identify and investigate misconduct. And while these steps are good and important, they do not rule out the need for the TSA to improve weaknesses that still exist in the agency. Risks such as, or weaknesses such as ensuring that misconduct cases are recorded in TSA's centralized database, and making sure that misconduct cases are properly handled in accordance with TSA policies and procedures. And furthermore, when addressing misconduct, Congress and TSA have a responsibility to ensure proper oversight over the entire TSA workforce, including management and supervisors. According to a recent Department of Homeland Security Office of Inspector General report, supervisors at TSA's Transportation Threat Assessment and Credentialing Office have exhibited a pattern of poor management practices and inappropriate use of informal administrative processes to assess and address misconduct. This report is yet one more example of why an examination of TSA's misconduct should be extended beyond the TSO workforce. I therefore look forward to hearing from both GAO and the OIG this morning on how TSA can improve its processes, and from TSA on how it intends to comply with GAO and OIG recommendations. I thank our witnesses for being here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for convening the meeting. I yield back the balance of my time.